Good morning. Curious here. And it's cold as snot. But considering I have to heat my house, it's not too bad. Anyway, where was I? Oh, yeah. Okay. I want to consider something very interesting. How does sex positive feminists give their kids the talk? Think about that for a moment. I mean, yeah, you could take the negative view and say, okay, well, you could say, oh, now go ahead, like anyone you want. Here's the pill. There's Planned Parenthood. Knock yourself out. But realistically, without being just critical, how does a sex positive parent enter into parenthood and give their children the sexual education needed to go out and act responsibly, as any parent would to any child? I mean, that's the whole point of parenthood, is authority figure and guiding them to a successful and safe, or at least productive life that you have parented them towards with your values. Okay, we know the gay thing will be easy. That's simple. Tolerance, inclusion, acceptance. Okay, no problem there. Everyone in the atheist and the secular community pretty much loves the gay. So, okay, we'll accept that as a norm. In the progressive community, let's just leave conservatism out of it for a minute. Just accept it as that. Okay, that's no problem. Abortion. I accept abortion. I don't want to get into abortion, but basically, your body, your right. That's fine. I accept that. I personally have caveats about late-term abortion, but okay. You have the right not to have a kid. Okay, no problem. Now, we come to sexual rights for adolescents. How does that work? How does a parent go from an authoritarian figure and a guiding figure to when it's okay? Well, law consent's supposed to be 16 in some states and others. There's some thing like know your age of consent, and there's things to do with consent with persons of like ages and stuff, like 5-year rule or something. Depends on the state. Depends on the circumstances. Okay. But then you get into things like appropriate dress, slut walks, prostitution, pornography. Even on a recent show, I was watching a teen show. Well, they're in college now, but it was a teen show when it was, I think, the last season. There was one scene where an underage girl performed in I think it was a 17-year-old girl performed in a porn, and yet routinely 18-year-olds are into pornography. So, you know, as a legal adult, 18, but if your child's heading that way, inclination wise, you can kind of tell if you're open with your child where their interests might lie. Do you think your views might influence that interest? That's okay, right? A lifestyle of pornography for your child to enter into when they're adult. Hmm. Interesting. How do you separate authoritarianism of a parenthood and the imbuement of responsibility that you want to endow upon your children into your standards, and yet being a successful adult, because you want the best for your child, obviously, into a lifestyle that has freedom of choice, but not necessarily, well, some would say not necessarily the best choice of option, or responsibility from an authoritarian point of view. After all, right to choose, right to make mistakes. How do we, how do we see various sexual liberation? Can we agree that it does have some risks over a abstaining viewpoint? Sex positive and parenting. You tell me. How does a sex positive parent give their child to talk? Really? Um, really? Because more than likely, you might end up being a parent if you're more inclined to partake of reproductive responsibilities or activities. Well, and of course, the abstinence versus freaking education aspect, maybe you're less likely to be a parent. That's a subject too. But as a sex positive parent, whether it's through instinct or choice, how do you give a child to talk when they come of age? Curious out.